Hello, welcome to this episode of Wand and Crown. I am Hayley. Keeley is somewhere over there, and we are joined in this episode with one of our wonderful and amazing friends and fellow agents with Carry On the Magic Vacations, Lauren. Lauren specializes in some kind of crazy destinations. Alaska cruises, and you've started delving into like Antarctic exploration trips. Not necessarily just cruising either.
No, I really do. Well, I guess they're called fly cruises, but I'm not doing the kind that where you like can go and touch the South Pole.
Oh,
that's a whole nother thing.
That's your next venture.
I don't know. I could see myself going on I do want to go to Antarctica. I don't have a desire to go to the South Pole. And like getting to the South Pole is a 7-day experience, and it's weather related, and there's a very short window, and there's it's much more roughing it than I can handle.
More camping, less glamping.
Well, it's still glamping, and I'm sure it's still nice, but just not. I need higher level glamping.
Yeah. Lots and lots of heat. Lots of heat.
Yeah.
A lot of snow. I'm supposed to get snow this weekend. Anyway.
We are supposed to get, actually, all three of us are getting snow this weekend. Anyway, I think.
We get snow all the time.
Yeah, you're right. What am I talking about?
Whatever. So I'm going to go with one of the most basic questions in the world, because I actually, when I first started working for the agency, didn't know the answer to this and gave a very wrong answer. When is the best time to go on an Alaskan cruise?
I'm going to say I will actually give you the most popular week, and then I will tell you the best time to go. So The most popular time is whenever June 21st or June 22nd happens of that year. That's when the summer begins, and that's because it's the most sunlight that you will get. It's the summer equinox, obviously. If you've been to other places where it doesn't get dark at all, like I've done that in a couple of different countries, it's really cool in an Alaskan cruise. At all times, you look outside and it's not completely dark, depending on where you are in the cruise. So a lot of people like that. It's like the kickoff to the summer season, and people really enjoy it. I would say still the best time to go, if you can, is any time between Memorial Day to Labor Day.
So anytime, essentially.
Yes, any of those times. And the big reason is you need the workers to be there, and not like the workers in the shops that are there, but a lot of the younger people who are doing some of the tours, and they come up seasonally. A lot of them, like the last time I went was 2022, and that year they pulled a ton of kids from Utah, colleges in Utah. So the kids were coming up from Utah, so when they got out of college, they would come up and work, and they were a lot of our guides. They were our bus drivers. They were assisting at a lot of the places, and those people are essential. So if you go before Memorial Day, there are less options, and some options for excursions can't even open because it's not warm enough yet to physically do things. And then if you go after Labor Day, you don't have the same staff. And you have less cruises and less people on those cruises, but it's still not going to be the same experience. And there are some places that are just not going to be open during that time.
That makes a lot of sense. My little Southern brain was immediately like, winter is an amazing time to go. And like everything that you said just makes complete sense for like, there's still going to be snow up there regardless. You'll be fine.
Yeah, like when you go on an Alaskan cruise, you will see snow. In August, in June, there's still snow.
Wild.
You might not touch it, but you will see mountains and they will have it.
And glaciers.
And glaciers, yes.
Integral part of the environment up there. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now there is a bunch of cruise lines that go up there. How do you help clients decide like which is the best fit for them, and like what is the best like way to decide? Because there's just, I feel like there's just a large option of cruises. I feel like Alaska really has exploded as a destination within the last, like, I don't know, what, 4 or 5, 6 years.
Mhm.
How do you help clients figure out what cruise line is best for them, or what ports? Like, what's kind of your process for that?
So the biggest thing, I guess the big thing that the misconception is that I went on this cruise in the Caribbean, so I'm going to take the same cruise line in Alaska. And that's probably the number one thing that people don't understand. Caribbean cruising, Alaskan cruising, not the same. And people who do like expedition and like are outdoorsy-ish type people will understand that like typically they don't like Caribbean cruising to begin with. Caribbean cruising, it's pretty much the same. Like you can go to the different islands, and some islands have like, different options and stuff like that. But the main goal is you're going to a beach, or you're doing some sort of like snorkeling or something like beach related excursion.
Mhm.
And you're going to Alaska, you're actually trying, like the goal is to see like land and animals, but in a very like calmer way. So it's more people understanding that there's a difference in the like feeling of the cruise. People are much more relaxed.
Mhm.
Like no one shows up, no one shows up at dining time at the time. Like that's sometimes like a weird thing. And a lot of cruises have changed that, where they don't even have dining times, and they've changed it like for their whole fleet, because it doesn't make sense. Like, oh, if you go to Alaska, we're going to change it just for this. They kind of changed it like you pick your times or things like that, because in Alaska, sometimes you're in port from 7 a.m. till 8:30 p.m. So it's a very, you definitely have longer port times depending on who you choose. So it's kind of, we have to start with understanding that philosophy, that just because you've taken that cruise line before somewhere else, this feeling is going to be more relaxed. You typically will care more about your accommodations on this cruise too. Okay. So on a Caribbean cruise, you might be like, oh, let's pack us all in. Let's, in
the stateroom, who cares? We're going to be out at the pool all day. Anyway.
We're just sleeping. That's it.
Right. Yeah. We're just sleeping. You don't care that, you can barely turn around in your bathroom when you're in it. Right. Which maybe the three of us experienced this past summer.
We got space.
Yeah. And then imagine trying to have a child in there with you. Well, I guess Keeley understands. If trying to get a child in there too, it's like you don't even fit with you and a child in a bathroom. So in Alaska, it's worth it to spend it on better accommodations. I don't book anything below a balcony. If you want something that's below a balcony, I don't think that you're getting the experience that you want in Alaska. And not everyone wants that, but those are the people that I help, is the people that are looking for that experience, understand that the reason that you're going is to see things. Because in the Caribbean, you can see ocean, but in Alaska, you're seeing land and mountains and wildlife. We could be still at sea and there's a whale and they're telling everyone like, look out and see this whale. Or one day we woke up and there were all these dolphins. And there were millions maybe of dolphins, and they were just swimming by, jumping and all this stuff. And it was just like amazing to see. So that's another thing. And then the big thing is that everyone in Alaska does not have the same rights. So everyone in Alaska, cruise-wise, has different rights in Alaska. And that is because Alaska cares about its environment and is really trying to reduce who goes where, how many ships come in, and they're very serious about their national parks. So in the past, they've put limits on not just where you cruise, but also on land with national parks, so that only so many people can come in a day, which is pretty true for a lot of national parks, but Alaska has the most national parks. It's the one that has to regulate it the most. So a lot of cruise lines, especially Virgin is coming up there. There's another one. Disney just added a second ship this season, and they have really bad rates in Alaska. So it makes a huge difference because Princess and Holland America have been there the longest. They have the most rights. They get the best stuff. Everyone else from there kind of like trickles down. So it's kind of people understanding that you can choose. If you are like a diehard Disney fan and you only want to take that Disney cruise, you definitely can. You might not go to Juneau though, because only 50% of Disney cruises are going to Juneau. So are you going to go all the way to Alaska and skip Juneau? I would say maybe if you're on your second, third time going on an Alaskan cruise, that's where you're okay missing those ports. But if it's your first time going, and I mostly get first timers, that's not the way to go. And then there are people who really want those expeditions. They don't want that traditional cruise environment. So sometimes people say, I want to go to Alaska, but I don't want to do all the dining stuff. And I really want to get into the land and I want to learn when I'm on there. National Geographic is the best for that expedition cruise. Uncruises is really good for those types of things. So it's trying to figure out goals in Alaska. What is it that you want to do? What is it that you want to see? And what kind of experience you want on the ship, because that will change it. Because even in Princess and Holland America, the ships vary a great deal. And one has better ships and one has better land options. So that can make a difference too.
So is there a cruise that you would recommend? Like you say Holland America and immediately people think it's a lot of people with old gray hair and not necessarily for families, but
yes.
Have you found that to necessarily be true? Where no, you don't really want to bring your families on this. You probably, if you're a family with a little kid, you probably want to stick to Disney, or no, you are okay to go to Princess or Holland America if you want to go on these expeditions or have these certain port rights.
So for Disney, if you're going to compare a kids club, no one's going to beat Disney, right?
Yeah.
Nothing can beat Disney. So if your main goal is to go to Alaska so your kids can be in a kids club, then I would stick with Disney, because your goal isn't to go to Alaska. But I know Holland America gets a really bad rap, right? They're just, it's old people and it's stuffy and things like that. So it's specific to Alaska. But if you have kids that maybe don't like huge crowds, I have clients that really, really liked Holland America because they do have kids clubs. They're not extensive like Disney, but they do have kids clubs and there's just less kids. So the big thing that they always said is, oh, my kids actually wanted to go more because they could do all the stuff. It wasn't like they just had to wait in line or this one kid was on this one thing forever and ever.
More attention from the people that are looking after them.
Right. So I think that's helpful. I think your kids, if you're going to take really young kids, I would still choose Princess, or if you're really into Disney, you could do Disney. You just have to know what your sacrifice is. Yeah. If you're going so that your kids will be happy, then that's what we're going to choose it based on. If you're choosing like my kid's going to get what he gets because this is where we're going, that's different.
He'll appreciate it when he's older.
Mm-hmm. I have a lot of parents that want their kids who are older teenagers to be on Holland America because they're less likely to find trouble.
Yeah.
And they can let them be independent like they want them to be on the cruise. They're like, the worst thing that happens is they, try and hang out with like some of the workers on the cruise. They're like, so like there are different benefits.
Mm-hmm.
I still think that Princess is definitely like the ship difference is going to be Holland America has older ships only. There aren't like newer ships. There are refurbished ships that are nicer inside. The decor in the rooms are still going to be old, no matter what you say. They're just not modern. Like no matter what, you're just not getting a modern space. But also, if you go on Royal Caribbean in Alaska, you're getting a real old ship with real old stuff, with real outdated stuff.
Out in the Caribbean where everyone else is going.
Right. There. So it's not like just Holland America that does that. Princess has some newer ships that are going up there. And I think what's different about Princess is Princess's main goal is Alaska.
Yeah.
Holland America is still like, doing the Caribbean, doing Europe. Like that's their big focus. The majority of Princess ships are in Alaska. So that is their focus. So the only time that it's not majority of the time is, in these summer times. But their ships then last longer. They aren't as like they're still using the ships all year round, but they're just not like going all over the world as much. Like they're kind of keeping some closer, right? Mm-hmm. And their focus is just Alaska.
And they've got some cool technology too.
They do. I think it's very similar to Disney. They have a medallion and the medallion opens your door and it's like a little bracelet that you wear or a necklace or I don't know.
Whatever.
However you want to wear it.
They have the clip-on for the guys. And it looks so funny. But it opens your door. You just tap that when you go somewhere. Like it's much like wearing a lanyard, having to wear your key card around you, especially like, I don't know, women, we don't really like our clothes to like have extra accessories. So it's just kind of nice. Like, okay, I'm wearing this thing. I don't have to worry about it. Like I can get on and off the ship with it. It's just, I don't know. It's just easier. Their app works most of the time. They've had some issues. It's getting better. They're different. They actually try and improve their technology. They hear people and then they work on it.
I feel like that can be said for most places that we sell. The apps are like there. They work.
Universal. Sorry.
It works. It's just really outdated.
Yeah. And I would say Princess had that and they took advantage during COVID and really tried to update some of their ships with that and really improved it. And we're in 2026. So in 2024, they had some struggles. In 2025, they're making it better. Like it's not perfect, but it's definitely like your medallion works. It opens your door. It does its functions. The app, it says that you can order food wherever on the ship. Mm-hmm. Not every ship is perfect with the Wi-Fi and you're in Alaska, the Wi-Fi, like it just doesn't work. Like even Starlink, it does not work 100% of the time in remote areas. It just doesn't do that.
You're in the middle of the wilderness. Just
yes.
Take what you can get.
Yes. If you have to go 10 steps to go up to that guy and say, I want this drink, it's okay.
Human interaction is fine.
Yes.
Oh man. What would you say? I'm trying to I'm looking at it. We have a list of questions that we wanted to ask you. So see me like looking off to the side. That's what we're doing, because both of us have ADHD and cannot remember a thing to save our lives.
My whole head is turned to the side looking at my laptop. You're glancing. I'm full.
Would you recommend people doing like a closed loop cruise, ones that end in Alaska, or closed loop, or ones that end in Alaska? And is there a favorite port to sail out of for either of those options?
So your option is either to go Seattle to Seattle, Vancouver to Vancouver, or Vancouver to, we say Anchorage, but please understand it's not Anchorage. Anchorage is too interior. It's not at the ocean.
It's like you're going to Rome when you're not.
Yes. So you're looking to go to Whittier. There will be other ones that go to Seward. Seward's just south, so it's just going to take you longer to get to Anchorage or wherever you're going. It's just further away. There are some San Francisco ones that will come up. There are some LA ones that will come up, and then there's if you're doing an expedition one, typically you're going to maybe start in Juneau or Sitka, or places like that. So you're going to start in an actual Alaskan port. So I would say my two favorite options are, if you want a closed loop, meaning start and end in the same location, I would do Vancouver to Vancouver.
Okay.
And I pick that always over Seattle to Seattle, because if you start in Seattle, you're starting in an American port, which means at some point you have to stop in Canada, because some crazy rule a long time ago saying you can't do it. You have to stop in an international port.
It's like the cruises that go to the Bahamas. They have to stop in Nassau.
Right, Nassau, yeah. So with that, you actually, if you go into Seattle, you still might be able to see the big three, which is Juneau, Skagway, Ketchikan, which are the three big inside passage ports.
Okay.
You're probably not going to go to Glacier Bay, most likely, or there's limited ones that will take you to Glacier Bay, and you're only going to Glacier Bay on NCL, Princess, or Holland America. So the rest of you are not going on it, whether you go out of Seattle or not. Glacier Bay is that big thing that everyone wants to go see.
Yeah, that's what people picture when they picture an Alaskan cruise.
Right. If you've ever seen the big glacier, maybe you'll get one or two of Hubbard Glacier. But I'll tell you what my absolute favorite one is. But anyways, when you go through Seattle, you have to stop somewhere in British Columbia. And typically it's on your way back. And the stop is typically 9 p.m. to 11 p.m.
Just
so they have to do it, right? They have to get their 2 hours in. So you're kind of losing a little bit of your cruise. And Seattle is just rougher waters. Going out of Seattle is just going to give you rougher waters. You have to go in and out of channels that just cause really bad waves. I've had people who have gone on 6 or 7 Alaskan cruises, and they said the absolute worst they've ever had on a cruise is going from Seattle, and that first day from Seattle. It's just the way it works.
Sickness, don't do that.
If you're a person who gets seasick, even if you're not, that's the time that it's going to affect you. I get seasick looking at the ocean. So, and yet I still do it. But I think that's a big difference, is that if you leave out of Vancouver, it's so much smoother. And still that first day, it's going to be a little rougher. But it's not from the very start that first hour that you're leaving that it starts getting rough.
Yeah.
And it's going to depend. Like there's 50 things that are going to depend on that. It's just that Seattle is known for that. So I like, if you want to do same port that you start and end, I always suggest Vancouver to Vancouver.
Okay.
The best option is starting in Whittier and actually coming down to Vancouver.
Oh.
And that is because most likely, it depends on which cruise line you choose, but if it's one that has Glacier Bay, you will get both Hubbard Glacier and Glacier Bay. And those are two really good experiences.
Okay.
You also get to go to the interior of Alaska because in Inside Passage, you're just going around British Columbia where Alaska hits a little. So you don't get up to that big part of Alaska. So it's just nicer to be able to see that area.
Okay. So I know there are cruise lines. I feel like I'm shouting at you for some reason.
You're not.
Okay. I know there are cruise lines that offer like land and cruise combos, like that for sure. Like they've got their own lodges and train add-ons and everything. Would you recommend people do that before and then go on the cruise, or cruise and then do that? Right. I mean, you're saying start in Whittier and come down. I'm assuming it would be starting.
So sometimes yes, sometimes no.
Okay.
It kind of depends. Some people like to start in Vancouver, and like I have a couple of clients that are going in 2026, and they kind of have like unopened plans at the end. Like we have it booked to a certain amount, but like I've made them like, okay, so we could do this and we could do this, and we have different things booked that they might cancel if they're exhausted after 14 days.
Yeah.
But they're kind of like, well, we could probably do 20, and so like what would our options be? Like things sell out, so you can't like just like wing it once you get there, because once you get more interior, there's only so many options.
Yeah.
So a lot of times for people with families, I find that they actually want to do the cruise first. Mm-hmm. The land part I don't want to say it doesn't scare them, but a lot of times families like to, it's best, I would say, if you have younger kids, starting in Vancouver, because a lot of the stuff, I don't want to say is going to be new, because a lot of times families have traveled, but if you have like a 6-year-old kid, it's a lot, right, to go from cruise to land. Yeah. Land, your kids are used to hopefully living on land.
I don't know. You never know, Lauren. You never know.
Right? It's been my experience. The kids understand land. It takes kids a few days to get acclimated to a cruise. And so there's a lot of excitement, like getting on the cruise, kind of just figuring it out. How's it going to go? And so you have like that day and a half where you're just on the cruise. This is what you're doing. Like there's no commitment. Like you're going to see like a little, but not really. If you go from Whittier or Seward down, you're like, day one, okay, we're going to a glacier, and you're going to want to make sure that you're on top of it. So sometimes clients can't handle with kids being like, okay, we did the land. Now we got to look. Now stay here. Now you got to go here. Okay, tomorrow we're going to be at this port, right? If you can start like a little slower, that helps. I will say it's less expensive if you start from Vancouver and go up and do land second. If you start up in maybe like Fairbanks and then work your way down to Whittier, it's going to be more expensive. It's just the way it is.
But it is
because
to like start and be going around and then be confined.
Because adults would rather, if it's just adults, they would rather do the land part first, and then I'm going to relax my way down on this cruise, right? So it's just a different mentality of who's going, what the experience is. Like last year I had a client, she booked super late, and we could only get her an inside passage, and then they wanted to do the land portion. So they went Vancouver to Vancouver, and then when they got off, they flew up to Fairbanks and then came down. And then they did 7 days that way. And she's like, yeah, I can see how it would have been better if we could have just ended up in Whittier and then worked our way back up. And I was like, yeah.
So how does that work with flights, like availability of flights too, between like the different ports and like, are the airports, like, I guess just like what's like the availability, what is that side of it? Like, can that impact what cruise people are going to look at, is if they can get flights or not, or kind of how does that side of it work or like play into it, I guess?
So 2026 is a good year and a good example of that, because the World Cup is taking place in Vancouver and Seattle in the summer, and the hotel rooms in Vancouver were sold out in 2024. So
I don't follow soccer, so I totally did not know any of that.
So cruising out of there could be difficult.
So you had to understand that getting the hotel rooms was the most important thing. And I think it's not necessarily the flights. Like you can get flights into Seattle, but the flights to Seattle this year, like going West Coast or East Coast to West Coast. I mean, I have a family of two. I think they had to pay $3,000 for the two of them just to fly. And that was like the least expensive. And they booked their tickets almost a year in advance. So, and that's just because there was something happening there. Right? The World Cup makes a difference. Vancouver hotels, just expect $800 a night. Like not even saying the World Cup is there. Like that is
the norm.
You should expect that. Vancouver hotels in safe areas are something you really like. I just say like it's going to be $1,000 a night. Like especially if you're trying to fit 4 people in a hotel room. They don't like you fitting 4 people in a hotel room.
Are they Europe? Come on.
They are. Seattle has definitely more reasonable prices. Anchorage has reasonable prices also. But I would say even Fairbanks, they have very reasonable prices. But Vancouver, you're definitely going to pay more in that port. And it's just, they know why you're there. They know it's a cruise season. The cruise lines take out hotel blocks. And so let's say 50% of the hotels in Vancouver have hotel blocks. Those are the cheapest prices. So if you don't book through the cruise lines, then you are paying more no matter what. Now those hotels that the cruise lines put out, so they're if you're not booking a year in advance, you're not getting it. Like it's very rare. It means that someone canceled or they got more space somehow. 2026, that's not even an option. So you can fly into places like Fairbanks and Anchorage. And if you're going to Fairbanks, that's more northern Alaska. That's going from there, you're coming down to get to Whittier. There's typically like a good amount of flights for that. Anchorage will have more for the United States. Vancouver, it's considered an international flight, so you'll have more limited options. A lot of people will fly to Seattle and then take the train. It's like a 2-hour train to get to Vancouver sometimes, because it's just, I mean, it could be like a $4,000 difference per person sometimes, because it's just considered an international flight, and that sometimes can really hurt you.
That's cool though, to take a train. I know you like trains too. I was gonna say Haley's done Amtrak too down to Florida.
Yes.
I took the train up to school. So we're train girls.
I have a huge trip planned for this summer that I can't talk about yet, but
man. Okay. Well, when you can, tell us, because I want to know now.
But it does involve trains.
Okay.
All right. Hayley, did you have a question? You look like you were about to.
No, I was trying. I thought I saw flashing lights outside my window. So I was gonna
Okay.
pause and make sure that my building's not on fire, but they're gone. So anyway, I'm trying to.
We've gone through a lot of questions, just like
yeah. What types of excursions can people expect? Like, I've helped one friend do an Alaska cruise, and it was like a month, maybe 3 weeks before the cruise. I am shocked that she was able to get not one, but 2 balcony rooms. I have no idea how that happened. Honestly, it's because I'm an amazing travel agent.
Yeah.
And so I know, like, you can meet the sled dogs. I know there are axe throwing competitions.
Mm-hmm.
That's about the extent of it. I assume, but like, see, again, this is one of those times where I'm like, I assume that you can go and walk the glacier, and you're gonna be like, no.
Okay,
You
so
are insane.
that's yes and no. So the big thing is going to see whales.
Okay.
That's one of the big ones. So June, really anywhere you can go see the whales. Juneau's like the big one where people want to see whales. The other thing is taking a helicopter ride to a glacier so you can dog sled on actual like snow. So that's like the number one thing.
Yeah,
that people do in Alaska. I don't want to say the number one thing. It's the most desired excursion out there. And they do have the axe throwing that's in Ketchikan. They're actually building a second option in Ketchikan. There are actually 2 ports. So one is in downtown and one is 15 minutes away. It's called Ward Cove. And people who are going to Ward Cove were not able to make pretty much any excursions because of the time and all this stuff. So the axe throwing company is actually making a second location over to Ward Cove so those people can experience some actual excursion. So that's a big deal. Another one people will do is just go to dog sled farms and like play with the puppies. And if you're on like a Princess or Holland America ship, they actually bring the puppies on the ship when you go into Juneau.
Yeah, I thought that's both a reaction.
So that happens. There's also there's fishing not expeditions, but there's fishing experiences where you can go fishing and you can actually eat the salmon that you catch.
Oh, that is Cody's name written all over it. Cody loves fishing. Sorry, this is like.
You can also fish and get it sent home to you, and like there's lots of options there.
Sign him up for that. Yep.
Right, and then there's like some. I don't even know how to describe them, but they're like Zodiac-ish type experiences where you're going into the water and you're going close to wildlife to see things either in the ocean or on the land where it's safe and a bear is not going to eat you in the water. Those kinds of things. Like in all those things are if it happens. We can't guarantee, the people who work up there, they understand like, hey, this is like where the whales hang out normally, and this is what time is best. People get really frustrated that they can't do these super early morning whale watching tours. And like, because the whales aren't in an area that they can get to. So that's why it's like that. So like they're trying to help you get a whale experience.
Sure, go, but you're not going to see anything, and you're going to be annoyed that you paid money to see nothing.
Right, and excursions are a huge part in Alaska. So depending, again, it's all going to depend on what cruise ship you go on, the timing, all that stuff. Skagway and Juneau are big ones where people will do 2 excursions in those ports because you have enough time. Only on certain cruise ships, though. And with that, you have to make sure that they like time up right and that like have enough time, but normally it's no problem. Most of my clients at least do 2. Some have done 3, because you're talking about 7 a.m. till 8:30 p.m.
Okay.
If they can get a 7:30 a.m. to 9:30 excursion, and then they can get like a 10:30 to 2 excursion, you can still get one from 4 to 6. You still got 2 hours, and you can like walk around town and then get on the ship. It's an exhausting day, but you see a lot. So it's an option. And I will say,
what you paid for.
Yeah, it's going to be more than a Caribbean cruise. Like I say, they start at $100 per person for an excursion, and they go up from there. Like the helicopter tours, they're normally $1,000. So you have to think about that. And then you also have to think about what kind of ship you're on. So, if you're doing Disney and it's your first time going on a cruise, you're the last group that picks excursions through Disney. I would never suggest that you choose an excursion through Disney. And maybe if you're Pearl or you're concierge, but even that, like, are you going to risk not getting what you want and finding out after final payment that you're going to Alaska and you got none of the excursions that you wanted? Like, I just don't know. That's like the biggest problem that I have with Disney is they just don't
have those tiers.
They just have those tiers. And in Alaska, like, excursions is why people go.
People are not going on an Alaskan cruise to sit and relax on the ship. They are going to experience things.
No,
I mean, you're going to
you go
experience the
hard.
ship, but you're doing, it's like a Disney actual vacation where you're not going to like usually rest and hang out. You want to go and you want to get your money's worth. You want to go do things. You want to go see things. You're not doing things. This is good for people who relaxing is doing a million things and feeling accomplished at the end of the trip. I feel relaxed after that. And I feel like that's...
Yes, but you do have down days. Like you will have that. So you go hard on those days when you're in port, and then you have those calmer days like, okay, we're going to see a glacier today and we're just going to be on the ship, right? Like, so those are 2 different experiences.
Balance,
and you can make it that, you can spread some of that in, sprinkle some of that in too. I think a hard part is that a lot of cruise lines you'll go to Juneau from, let's say like 1 p.m. to 8 p.m. And then the next day you're in your next port and it's 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. You're going like for 24 hours, you're basically going to 2 ports and like you're trying to just sleep and you got to get out. And that's probably the hardest thing. And if you're in port at 6 a.m., I just want you to know nothing's open. It's just like everywhere else in the world.
Interesting.
You mean they don't open specifically for us?
For the cruisers? Come on.
Like excursions just can't really start at 6 a.m. They're not going to be throwing axes at 6 a.m.
No.
Why not? I wish I could throw axes at 6 a.m. at home sometimes.
I feel like you need sleep to be accurate, and those are a little deadly if you're not accurate. So
well, and also like if you're talking about kids, right? If you're coming from the East Coast, you're talking about you go through time changes when you're on an Alaskan cruise. So you start off maybe at 3, and then you go to 4, and then you go 5, and then you go to 6, and then you go back to 5, and then you go to 4. So like you're going through a time change while you are on the cruise.
I didn't think about that.
Good to know.
Right.
Yeah. And sometimes you're going forward and sometimes you're going backwards.
Oh, yeah.
Time just isn't real when you're on an Alaskan cruise, is what I'm hearing.
It can be just a challenge. That's actually why a lot of people are starting to like the expedition cruises, because they're like, I'm exhausted at night. I don't need entertainment. I just want someone to give me food and let me go to bed. And then you start the next day. So like that has become very popular, and those are very limited. Like though 2026 is sold out. I don't know if there's any 2026 expeditions available. If they are, they're bad rooms, bad ships, bad time of year.
Just
Like
that.
just wait. Yeah, just wait.
Like you got to go to 2027.
What would you say is like, you're talking about the expedition, what would you say is a big difference between expedition cruises and traditional cruises?
Okay. The biggest thing with expedition cruises is the itinerary is suggested. It's
Okay.
suggested that you are going to go to certain locations.
Mhm.
Are you going? I don't know. Kind of depends on the weather. Kind of depends on what are we trying to see here. We want to see whales? Well, we're not going this way today. Or this is our day to go into Glacier Bay and we have a specific area that we can go to and we have to get there by this time. So this is what we get. So you have a loose plan on where you're going to go. And you have, not all cruises have them. Like the traditional cruises, they don't all have naturalists on them. Princess and Holland America do, I think NCL does, Norwegian. But I don't think any of the other cruises do. They sometimes might bring someone on at some point. But Princess and Holland America, they have established people that come on the cruises. They have specific cruises that have certain naturalists on it, all that kinds of things. But on an expedition, you will definitely have someone who knows the area, who's a naturalist, who's teaching you a lesson. Like if there's, I know on National Geographic, they do something specific with the kids and they'll have like a lab on the ship and they're doing like experiments with the kids with things. They'll kind of have something specific for the kids to be doing on the cruises. So that helps a lot too. And uncruises is the same way. They have specific cruises that are made for families.
Mm-hmm.
And it's different than an adult's cruise. You'd have to be 18, sometimes 25 in order to take the cruise on your own. And then you could take the cruise and the other big thing is it's all inclusive expedition. So you're paying one price and it includes everything.
Wow.
So there's nothing else to pay for. Like there might be some like weird thing where you can do this special activity or whatever. Mm-hmm. But you wouldn't have to do that.
Okay. So like for the most part, the excursions
they're all included.
Wow. That's a
and a
big
lot of
point.
people are looking for just give me the one price.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's planned out too. And then, like you said, for the most part, it's at least scheduled. They know what they're going to take you to do and you're going to hit hopefully everything you want to, and it's paid for and you're set.
And they're super small ships. We're talking like there might only be 40 other people on the ship with you. Yeah.
Too small for me. I need to hide in a...
So you know everyone. Everyone knows you.
Yeah.
And the other thing with expedition cruises, I'll say specifically to Alaska, 2 people to a room. No option for anything else.
So if you have kids,
you need a separate room.
It would be, or like a parent.
And you can do like an adjoining room, like they have adjoining rooms, but or adjoining cabins, but it's 2 people. That's it. There's no way around that. I don't care if you're an infant. A lot of times they make you have a separate room.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So would you recommend someone do a traditional Alaska cruise before they look at doing an expedition cruise?
No, it just depends on like the kind of person they are. Okay, so my cousin, he's in the Coast Guard. Typical cruise is not going to be his thing, right? So he really likes doing the expedition cruises. So that's what he's looking for. He really gets to talk to the captain of the ship. Like, it's just a different, like, everyone who works on the ship, everyone, like, you just know everyone. It's just a very different experience. Hayley would die if I made her go on a ship with 40 people and she had to talk to every person every night. So like, that's not appropriate, but for some people it really is.
Extroverts, not introverts.
Even as someone who's an introverted extrovert, sometimes I don't know that I would want to do that. Like, leave me alone, especially after a day of doing a bunch of stuff. No, leave me alone. I don't want to talk.
And I would say, like, if your kid might be great on an expedition cruise and not on a traditional cruise, or the other way around. So, like, you have to know your kid. A lot of times there's age limits that your kids have to be for an expedition cruise to begin with. And it's more just, we're talking every day. You could be in a port 7 to 8. Like, you don't know. And a lot of times it'll say, like, you're in this port from 12 a.m. or 12:01 a.m. to 11:59 p.m. So, like, reading expedition itineraries like really throw people off.
Yeah, but it's just to like leave room for the
it's loose.
Whatever's
like,
gonna happen.
You know you're getting on and you're getting off, most likely in the spot that they said.
Most likely.
Somewhere nearby.
I would say that's pretty much your only definite.
Okay.
And if they said that you're going to Glacier Bay, other than that, everything is
big ticket item. They don't want to disappoint.
Yeah, they had to pay a lot of money to get you to go there. So,
yeah.
Interesting. All right. I think we've done most of all of our Alaska questions, Hayley. I think we're all right. So the big one. Tell us about the Drake Passage. Explain this to us. You have a Facebook group that's about skipping the Drake.
Yeah, I actually have my website. One of my websites is Skip the Drake.
Yeah, there you go. Yes. Explain this to us. Highlights. But
okay, so this has nothing to do with Alaska.
Yes, this is transitioning over to...
We're going to Antarctica.
The other cold place.
Antarctica is at the southern hemisphere. And I say that because the Arctic is north and Antarctica is in the south. And actually that is a big misconception with people. So polar bears are in the Arctic. Penguins are in Antarctica.
Yes, I'm going to remember it from there.
Okay, so you're not going to Antarctica.
But I like penguins better anyway.
Okay, so you're not going to see polar bears when you go to Antarctica.
You're going to see penguins.
So, the majority of expedition, I should say, you can get to Antarctica. You can see Antarctica on a lot of cruise lines.
Okay.
If your cruise line has more than 200, it's either 200 or 400. Now, like, I'm mixing up different things in my brain. You cannot get off the ship.
Oh, okay.
So you are just cruising through it, and you can point to it from your cruise ship.
Is that passengers or crew and passengers? Or you don't?
It's sort of like a combination of both. So
got it. Okay.
100 total people from an expedition cruise can get off at one time.
Okay.
In Antarctica. So if you have 200 people on your expedition cruise, only half of you are getting off, and you have to have expedition leaders. So it could be even 3 groups of people that are getting off at a time. So you're not all getting off at the same time, except there's like one that only will caps it at 78 people. And then it has its crew that will get off with you, and that equals 100. So if you have 400 or more, let's just say, you are not getting off. So you can go to Antarctica, like, let's say on Holland's America. I think Princess goes. There's like a couple cruise lines that go down there, and they say you're going to Antarctica. You're not getting off the ship, so you're just seeing it. But you're going through this place between South America and Antarctica, and it's called the Drake Passage. And if you have TikTok, at some point, the Drake Passage comes up for you. And it's these like 20, 40 foot waves that are hitting the expedition ships. And it's the roughest water in the world. It's the area. It's 2 oceans colliding in a small area. I can't explain it. I'm not a scientist. I'm just trying to put it in like layman's terms.
Go look it up on TikTok if you want to understand the science.
Okay. Sometimes it's not that bad. Sometimes it's absolutely horrible. I had a friend who just went to Antarctica. He went through the Drake Passage 3 times during his expedition. He was there for like 24 days. The first time, calm. Calm was 5 to 6 foot waves. So that's like something that's concerning in the Caribbean. And even though these are small ships and they're expedition ships, you will feel the waves. I don't know who these people are. Like, okay, my cousin who's in the Coast Guard, yeah, he probably doesn't feel the waves like I feel the waves. Okay. Then we're talking about 10 to 20 foot waves. You are feeling that no matter what ship you're on. And then the ones that you'll see a lot on TikTok or like just anywhere, you know, those are going to be the larger waves. And that's them going through a storm. They're always going to try to avoid a storm. But when you book this cruise, you have no idea. You have no idea what you're going to get. So there's no way I can do the Drake Passage. I mean, it's just not. Unless some like medical miracle comes out, I'm not able to do the Drake Passage. So they invented, I think 2003 is when they started the first Antarctica fly cruise. And there was a specific company that started these fly cruises where you flew over the Drake Passage. So it's a 2-hour flight. You start somewhere at the very tip of South America, and it's different for every cruise line, so I don't want to talk about where. But you basically fly over the Drake Passage, and then you get on your expedition, and you will have, once you get past the Drake Passage, I mean, there's no like weather event. You might like get 1 to 2 foot waves every once in a while, but that's pretty much it. And a lot of people have no idea that you can skip the Drake. There was a woman who like, she'll email me like four times and she'll be like, so I really, like, I don't go through the Drake. So like, if I do this, like, I really don't go through the Drake. No, like, it's like, it literally says you do. But they have these weird ones where you fly one way and then go through the Drake on the way back, or you go through the Drake first and then you fly back. So, and they're called fly cruises.
Oh no.
So you really have to be careful. And again, it's like Alaska. Different cruise lines have different rights to flights and how many flights they need depending on how many passengers they have on their ship. So there's one company that has first rights or will get in their flight before everyone else. Then all the other ones can do their flights. Like Silver Sea has one. Silver Sea is like a mess right now with Antarctica. They were supposed to open up a new hotel. It's not even like, if it's ready for 2027, I'll be shocked. But like all these people bought it and like no one's going anywhere. So like they're going to they're going to these old hotels now, and they're trying to get people down there, and they're flying, and they're having issues with flights because they weren't supposed to leave out of this port. So now they're in last place, and now they're not making all their flights. And again, it's an expedition, so you might be flying out on this day, or you're flying out on this day, or you're flying out on this day, and you might lose a day of your actual cruise because they can't fly if it's unsafe weather. Early and late season is when you're going to have the issues. But it's also, that's when you're going to have the worst time in the Drake.
Yeah.
So you have to decide what it is that you want. And then you have to think about what animals you want to see, because there are different animals available at different times.
There are more animals down there than just penguins?
Yes, there's these things called whales.
Seals and seals are down there because seals eat penguins. Unfortunately, that's how I make the connection. But
you also need to understand that like whales migrate, and like so they're just constantly migrating. So if you go into Alaska in the winter, they're not there. They're down in Antarctica. So that's sort of like that. If you want to see baby chicks, penguins, that's a different season. If you want to see sea lions, that's kind of a different season. If you want to see a lot of eating of animals, that's sort of a different season.
What season is that, Lauren? Tell me what
the
season that is.
The season you're not going. There's always a season where animals are eating animals, just so you know.
Okay, I know. I want to see the least amount of that as possible.
But, you know, in the animal world, not all babies make it.
What? Stop getting sad,
So
Lauren.
sometimes seeing babies is not exactly what you want it to be. So
Okay,
you gotta be careful about that.
Okay, good reality check.
And this is why we work with travel agents. Because they'll tell you the hard truth. You don't want to go this time. Okay.
I will say about Antarctica specifically, they're really good with their solo cruises. I think almost every cruise line has solo cabins. They also have a thing where if you want to sign up for to share a room with the same gender, they will put you on a list. And then they'll connect you if someone else comes in and says like, yeah, I'd like to share a room. Then you can share a room that way. You don't necessarily have to come to the table with that person. They will try and connect you with someone. It's like every other cruise though. If you're in a double cabin, you're paying the double price.
Okay.
But they have like, there's some really great ones. There's a women's only led expedition. There's special ones that are built for photographers, or learning about photography while you're there and which camera to bring and all this stuff. So there's like a lot. Cork has this one where they have a helicopter so they can bring you to places that you couldn't normally always go to. So there's a lot of different options there.
So they're more, I don't want to say niche, but like they have more niche interests.
Every single one is so different. Like every cruise line has its space.
Yeah.
But it's not like, oh, I'm picking between them and them.
Yeah.
You're picking between if you want expedition first or luxury first.
Ooh.
That's like those are your first two stops.
Okay. Good to know.
And none of them are going to be like name brands. I mean, I guess maybe Cork is one that people might have heard of. But the expedition ones, no, most people have never heard of them. You've heard of Seabourn, you've heard of Silver Sea, Viking, but those are luxury first, less focus on the expedition part.
Okay.
And there's some really there is one Viking cruise. Like I was just like looking it up, like being silly. And I was like, how could I get from Antarctica to Milwaukee? And if you don't know, we're huge Milwaukee Brewers fans. And there is a Viking cruise I don't know if it starts in Milwaukee and then comes down into Antarctica.
I'm looking that up when we get done with this.
Wild. I keep sending it to my husband. I'm like, look. But it spends too much time in the Caribbean, and that's not our jam.
Yeah, you're gonna hit like all the hemispheres. Wow.
Yeah.
On this side, yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's
wild.
Fun. I still would do it.
How many days is that one? That's got to be like
I think it's like 90. There's one. Seabourn has this amazing one, and it starts up in the Arctic North Circle.
Polar bears.
It comes all the way down into Antarctica.
Penguins. That's insane.
Mm-hmm.
That one's got to be probably close to 6 months then. Maybe not full 6 months.
Yeah, I think it's 100 and maybe it's 120 days. So like 3 months. Yeah. You got to you get the tail end of the tail end of the Arctic season, come down, get some heat, go back down, and get the beginning of the Antarctica season. Yeah.
Defrost for a little bit and then get cold again. That's fine.
Yeah. Packing is a challenge for that one.
Because you were legitimately packing for every single season.
Yes, you are.
Extremes.
My did a trip. It was like 10 different itineraries.
Ports?
No, itineraries tacked together. But it was like, it was part Alaska, part West Coast, part Pacific Islands, part of, like, so yes, they couldn't figure out what to pack. Mom kept being like, am I gonna, like, I don't want to bring a jacket, but I feel like I'm probably gonna need a jacket in Alaska. I'm like, bring the jacket. Bring the jacket.
No, Mom, don't take a jacket. Let me know how it goes.
Yeah. Yeah, you're totally going outside in that. The woman gets cold in 80-degree weather.
She would have been fine in Alaska. What do you mean? It would have
Totally.
been fine.
Okay, I have, I think, one final question.
Okay.
Are there any extras that people would need for an Antarctic expedition that they wouldn't think about, such as insurance?
Oh, I was like, oh, it's actually funny. That's not where I was going with that.
Oh, well, where were you going?
So actually, a lot of these expeditions, there's two things that they will offer you. It's like a parka coat that they will offer you and boots. So if you want to step on land in Antarctica, you cannot bring any disease onto the continent. So they will give you boots that you will wear, and you will dip them in solution every time before you get off the ship to make sure that you are not bringing any foreign stuff onto the continent. Also, you can't sit. You can only walk when you're in Antarctica, because that could, right? Your shoes, your boots have been cleaned, and your stuff still has to go through a cleanse. Like they still do a spray cleanse on your outerwear. So that's still a thing. But that's not what you're asking. You're asking about insurance.
I like that.
I like that one. Yeah.
So there's actually typically a packing limit that you can only pack 50 pounds total. And that includes like carry-on and suitcase. There are very few things that you actually need for an Antarctica cruise, and there's no way to overpack because you're not allowed. So again, that's why your boots and your parka are included, because that would weigh so much. Okay. Big thing that you need to know for Antarctica if you go for an expedition is you need a certain level of insurance. So Antarctica, not near anything, no hospitals, nothing. So if you have an event and you need to go to a hospital, you have to go by helicopter. And we are talking about maybe a couple hours of a helicopter ride, or getting a helicopter a couple of hours and then getting on a flight to get to a hospital. So typically your insurance policies are going to be higher. They typically have to have $100,000 of medvac coverage. And so your insurance policy, let's say that your cruise is like around $50,000 for two of you. Your insurance is probably going to cost you. I mean, there's so many factors, so I'm just giving a range.
This isn't a real quote,
right? It could just be $5,000, I would say. So there's still a percentage. Some cruise lines will let you sign a waiver saying that you're choosing not to do insurance. I can tell you right now that if you book through me, I prefer you to get insurance. This is like that one time where like you literally are in the middle of nowhere and no, your insurance company does not cover whatever it is that you think it covers.
There's no penguin hospital you can go to, unfortunately.
There actually probably is a penguin hospital, but not a people hospital.
Okay, I want a hospital run by penguins. That's what I'm talking about. That's all I could think about when you were saying that, was a hospital run by penguins. It's not a real thing. Anyway.
It could be run by penguins. I don't know.
It's so cool. Anyway, yeah, no, that's terrifying, because like you think about people who like, I don't know, go hiking kind of like in the wilderness, and that kind of thing happens, and you hear about how much it costs for that. You're on land. You're in CONUS. You're good. Yeah, you're not hanging out with the penguins. You're not in the middle, like you said, hours, flights away from something. So I can only imagine how much that would cost to have that happen.
And a lot of times you cannot purchase it through the cruise line. Like it's not like other cruise lines, like where they're like, oh, I have this travel protection. They don't offer that.
It's too complicated.
It's too much. It's too much coverage. And you wouldn't want that anyways. You would want an insurance plan that like make sure that has the coverage that you want. Sometimes your medical insurance will say you need this specific coverage if you are going, if you have specific medical conditions. And that's only something that your insurance company can tell you of what kind of coverage you need. So
there's more to think about when you're planning for an Antarctic expedition cruise.
Oh, definitely. And
There's
nothing like it. Like there's nothing, expedition cruises aren't like regular cruises. An expedition in the Arctic is different than Antarctica. So they're not equal.
You're going on a whim.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. That was so much info. Sorry, that was but like great. Like I'm gonna go on TikTok now and go watch a bunch of Drake Shake videos. Just
good for you girls, because I am actually going to be doing an Alaskan training specifically for our agency, because I have been I've been hired by a bunch of agencies last year and this year to do trainings with their agents, and so you guys are going to get a special one because you're in our agency. But
so exciting.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you would love to tell us that you haven't talked about or that we haven't asked about before we sign off?
No, I think the biggest thing is that if you can book anything at least a year in advance, you're going to get the best pricing. Anything, and it's not just about the ship and stuff like that, especially with Alaska. It's about the excursions. Like there's only so many. There's only so many, and you might get lucky with a cancellation, but there's only so many out there.
Yeah, it's not unlimited like the Caribbean cruises seem to be.
Right, like you can go to any beach in the Caribbean. So,
no.
Very true. Very true.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us. We will put Lauren's details in the show notes, and we will see you all on our next episode. Thank you, Lauren. We love talking to you. We love hearing you info dump on us, because normally it's us doing all the talking. So thank you for giving us a little bit.
No problem.
All right, and we will see you guys next time.